Santham Academy. Welcome to Digital Kaksha. To get updates on new videos, click the subscribe button and the bell icon.
Good morning everyone. Welcome back to the chapter, that is chapter 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variations. In the last two videos we have studied about the terminologies which will be frequently used in this chapter. So today we will be starting with the actual content of the chapter. So starting with the first topic, that is the Mendel's laws of inheritance. As this chapter completely deals with genetics, we have to start with the initial experiments being performed by the pioneer person who is known as the father of genetics. He was the first person who have done hybridization experiments to study the inheritance and variations. So let's start with the Mendel's experiment. Gregor Johann Mendel, he performed hybridization experiments for 7 years continuously, that is from 1856 to 1863. And in 1866, he put forward few postulates on the basis of his experimental results and observations. These postulates were later framed as Mendel's laws of inheritance. So, G.J. Mendel, he performed hybridization, or we can say that the self-pollination and cross-pollination experiments, that too artificial, and he put forward few postulates which later came to be known as the Mendel's laws of inheritance. Now about the experimental material which Mendel selected for performing his experiments. Mendel selected the garden sweet pea plant whose botanical name is Pisum sativum. There are many reasons why he selected the garden pea plant or Pisum sativum as his experimental material. So let us see what are the advantages of selecting the garden pea plant as the experimental material. So the first advantage is that Pisum sativum bears bisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers means that the flowers have got the male as well as the female reproductive unit. As it has got both the reproductive units, it can be easily self-pollinated and it can be easily cross-pollinated. Actually, Mendel performed artificial cross-hybridization experiments in which he selected certain varieties and he took the pollen grains from that varieties and dusted that on the stigma of another variety. So, he should select such a plant that can be easily self-pollinated and can be easily cross-pollinated. So, this Pisum sativum fulfilled all the requirements. Now, this can be easily cultivated, it can be maintained, and its maintenance is very much economic. The next point is Pisum sativum is available in variety of contrasting characters. For studying different characters which are being passed from one generation to the next generation, it is very much required that whatever experimental material is being selected, it should be having a number of contrasting characters. So here this plant has got a variety of contrasting characters. So easily these characters can be studied from generation to generation. Now the last point of the advantage of this pea plant is it is an annual plant and it has got a very short life cycle. If we take a plant with a long life cycle, then it will take a number of years or it will take a long time to get the results. But as this pea plant has got a very short life cycle, so we will get the results very quickly, or within a year we can get the results. So because of these reasons, Gregor Johann Mendel, he selected pea plant or Pisum sativum as the experimental material. Now, moving to the characters which Mendel studied. Mendel selected around 14 contrasting characters or 14 contrasting varieties of pea plant, and then he performed artificial hybridization experiments by emasculation and bagging techniques. So let us see what are the 14 contrasting characters. As you know that one character will be coded by one gene, and that one gene will be having two alleles. So let us see what the characters are. So here is a table of characters which Mendel have selected. These 14 varieties Mendel have selected. Number 1 is the height of the stem, means height of the stem of pea plant. So here two possibilities or two alleles will be there. One will be the dominant and one will be the recessive. So the dominant allele is tallness and the recessive allele is dwarfness. The second is color of the flower. Pea plant bears two types of flowers. Out of the two, the dominant one is the violet color flower and the recessive one is the white colored flower. The third character is position of flowers. The flowers can be borne either axially or terminally. So here the dominant trait is the axial flowers and the recessive trait is the terminal flowers. Next character is pod shape. The pod shape may be inflated or it may be constricted. Next is pod color. The pod color, the dominant trait is the green colored pod and the recessive trait is the yellow colored pod. Sixth character is seed shape, and the dominant seed shape is the round and the recessive seed shape is wrinkled. The last character is seed color. The dominant seed color is yellow and the recessive seed color is green. So we have discussed about why Mendel selected the pea plant as his experimental material, what are the advantages of selecting that plant, and we have studied the different contrasting characters which Mendel selected for performing his experiments. Let's start with the Mendel's experiment. Mendel, as you know that he is the pioneer who have started experimenting with Pisum sativum or pea plant to study inheritance and variations. So let us see how Mendel performed his experiment. Mendel, he followed a common protocol for performing all the crosses. So let us see what this protocol is. The first step in Mendel's protocol is the selection of parents. Parents are selected so that they can be self-pollinated and they can be cross-pollinated. So before cross-pollination, the parents need to be self-pollinated continuously to get the pure lines. So in the pure lines, the characteristics will be completely pure, or you can say that the trait for which the cross is being done, that will be completely pure or true. So how we will get the pure lines? By continuously self-pollinating that particular plant so that the same characters will be expressed generation after generation. So in this way we will get a pure form of that plant for that particular character. So that is the first step, selection of parents and obtaining pure lines. Now moving to the second step. Second step is after obtaining the pure lines, then Mendel have performed the artificial cross-pollination. Artificial cross-pollination Mendel have performed by emasculation and bagging techniques. We have already studied emasculation and bagging. Emasculation means moving. Emasculation means the removal of anthers before the maturity to avoid self-pollination. Bagging means covering the stigma to avoid the foreign pollen grains. So, from the selected plant, the pollen grains will be dusted on the stigma of the another plant. So, in this way artificial cross pollination is being performed. So, the generation or the hybrid which we get after this cross, that is called as the F1 generation or the first filial generation. Now, in the third step, self-crossing of the F1 generation is being done. So, self-crossing means that the F1 is crossed with F1, or simply we can say that the F1 is self-pollinated. So, as a result of self-crossing of F1 generation, we will get the F2 generation or the second filial generation. These are the 3 steps of Mendel protocol which he followed for every cross. So, the first step is getting the pure lines for the selected character. Second is artificial cross pollination to get the F1 hybrid or the F1 generation, and the third step is self crossing of F1 hybrids to get the F2 generation. So, first we will deal with the monohybrid cross, that means crossing between 2 plants taking 1 character into account. So, such type of cross is called as monohybrid cross. First, Mendel performed monohybrid crosses for different characters. Later, he moved to dihybrid crosses. So, here also first we will discuss the monohybrid cross. So, in monohybrid cross we are taking 1 character into consideration, that means 1 character, 1 gene and 2 alleles. So, here also the first step will be the selection of parents. So, selection of parents means you have to get the pure line for that particular character. Here the character we have selected, that is the height of the plant, and the height of the plant has got 2 alternatives or 2 alleles are there for that gene, that is the tallness and dwarfness. So, here in the first step we have to get the pure lines for these 2 traits, that is tallness and dwarfness. So, the homozygous tall we have taken and the homozygous dwarf we have taken by continuously self-pollinating the selected plants. So, that was the first step, that is selection of parents. So, now moving to the second step. Second step is cross-pollination between the selected parents. So, here I have drawn the cross on the board. You can see that this is parent 1 which is homozygous tall, and this is parent 2 that is homozygous dwarf, as both of them they are pure. Now, here the gametes are being formed. Here one type of gamete will be formed, that is capital T, that is 1 allele, and here one type of gamete will be formed, that is small t, that is the another allele. As both the alleles are same, the gametes formed will be same from one plant capital T and from the another plant small t. So, when the plants are being artificially crossed, then the generation which we get, that is the heterozygous tall. Heterozygous tall means that from one plant the tallness allele will come and from the another plant the dwarfness allele will come. So, in this way both of them come together to form the heterozygous tall plant. As you know that capital T or tallness is the dominant allele, so that dominant allele will be expressing itself. So, the plant in F1 generation will be heterozygous tall, means phenotypically the plant will be tall, but genotypically both the alleles will be present. Means the allele for tallness and the allele for dwarfness will be present. Now moving to the third step, here we have got the F1 generation or the first filial generation. All the offsprings in this generation will be heterozygous tall. So the next is the self cross between the F1 individuals. So here self cross, you can see that this is F1, this is also F1. So we are self crossing or self pollinating that. So here the male and female, they will be themselves the parent 1 and parent 2. Now here the alleles or the gametes which are formed, they will be different in both the cases. Here you can see the two gametes or alleles formed, they are capital T and small t. Here also the gametes formed will be capital T and small t. Now here we will do the crossing, like this T will cross with this T to get a homozygous tall. This capital T will cross with this small t to get capital T and small t, that is heterozygous tall, and this small t will cross with this capital T to get capital T, small t and capital T, that is heterozygous tall, and the last one small t will cross with small t to get the two small t's, that is homozygous dwarf. So here you can see we have got different combination of alleles. The first combination is homozygous tall, both the alleles will be tall, okay. The second is the combination of the two alleles, that is capital T and small t. Next also is the same, small t and capital T, and the last one is small t, that is homozygous dwarf. So here the offsprings which we have got in the F2 generation, this is the F2 generation we have got after self crossing the F1 generation. So here we have got the F2 generation, and what is the phenotype of F2 generation? Let's see. Here capital T, that means homozygous tall, the plant will be tall. Here capital T, small t, it will be heterozygous but the phenotype will be tall. Here small t and capital T, here also heterozygous, so the plant will also be tall. And here small t and small t, the plant will be dwarf. So here we can go for the phenotypic ratio as the 3 plants will be tall and 1 plant will be dwarf. Means the probability of tall plants and dwarf plants will be in the ratio 3:1. So the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. So now we will go to the genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio, here we see that this is homozygous tall, okay. So one homozygous tall individual. Then this is heterozygous tall, this is also heterozygous tall. So two heterozygous tall individuals and one is dwarf. So one dwarf individual. So the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. So the offsprings we have got in the F2 generation is a combination like we have got the tall as well as the dwarf individuals, while in the F1 generation we have got only the tall individuals. So on the basis of this monohybrid cross, Mendel have given the first 2 laws of inheritance, that is the Mendel's laws of dominance, and second is the Mendel's law of segregation or purity of gametes. So in this class we have studied about the Mendel's experimental procedure, which experimental material Mendel have selected for his experiment, why he have selected that experimental material, what are the characteristics of that material, what are the traits or characters which Mendel have studied, that is 14 contrasting characters Mendel have studied. After that we have seen the monohybrid cross performed by Mendel, and we have seen the results of monohybrid cross, the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio that we have got. In the next class, we will be studying about the Mendel's laws of inheritance, that means the first law, the second law and the third law, and the dihybrid crosses. So, thanks a lot, goodbye and take care.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more.